Have you ever thought about how much of your life was decided before you even knew what was happening? It's a bit like a race. Some people are born, and the starting line is right there, clear as day, with fancy running shoes and a bottle of water waiting for them. Others are born, and their starting line is a mile back, in the mud, with no shoes. This isn't about being lazy or not trying hard enough. It's about the simple, undeniable fact that our social and economic circumstances, the family we're born into, the neighborhood we grow up in, give us a head start or a handicap from day one. It shapes everything. Think about it. The stories we are told as children, the food we eat, the safety of our streets. These aren't just small details. They are the building blocks of our entire world. For one child, home is a quiet place with a full fridge and parents who have time to help with homework. For another, home is noisy, the fridge is often empty, and their parents are working 2 or 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. Both children have dreams, both have potential, but one is climbing a gentle slope, while the other is trying to scale a cliff face. This is the reality of socioeconomic factors. This isn't to say that you can't overcome a difficult start. People do it all the time, and their stories are incredible. They are the superheroes of everyday life. But we need to ask ourselves, why should it take superhuman strength just to get to the same starting point as everyone else? Why does one person's journey have so many more hurdles? Understanding this isn't about making people feel guilty for their privilege. It's about acknowledging that the playing field isn't level. It's about recognizing that the game is rigged from the start for so many people around the world, and that affects all of us. So when we talk about success, it's not always as simple as who worked the hardest. Sometimes it's about who had the most support, the best resources, and the clearest path. It's about who was given a map and who was told to just figure it out. These initial conditions are powerful. They whisper in our ears from a young age, telling us what we can and cannot achieve. They set the stage for our health, our education, and our future well-being, long before we're old enough to even understand the rules of the game we're all playing. Let's talk about the tools you get for this race of life. Education is supposed to be the great equalizer, right? It's the key that unlocks doors. But what happens when some keys are shiny and gold, and others are rusty and barely fit the lock? A child in a wealthy area might go to a school with the latest computers, small class sizes, and countless after-school clubs. Meanwhile, a child just a few miles away might be in a crowded classroom with outdated textbooks and teachers who are overworked and underpaid. Both are learning, but they are not receiving the same quality of education, and that gap widens over time. Then there's money, or income. It's not just about buying nice things. It's about stability. It's about not having that constant knot of anxiety in your stomach. When you have enough money, you don't have to choose between paying the rent and buying medicine for your sick child. You can afford healthy food. You can save for an emergency. Poverty, on the other hand, is a full-time job you don't get paid for. It's a constant state of crisis management, making it incredibly difficult to focus on long-term goals like getting a better job or pursuing further education. Now let's add another hurdle: discrimination. This is when the rules of the race are actively changed for you simply because of who you are. It could be your race, your gender, your religion, or where you come from. You could be the most qualified person for a job, but your name sounds foreign on an application, so it gets tossed aside. Or you get paid less than your colleague for doing the exact same work. Culture plays a role here too. Some cultures are celebrated and seen as the norm, while others are misunderstood or marginalized, creating invisible barriers for people trying to fit in and succeed. These factors don't exist in isolation. They all mix together. Imagine a young woman from a low-income minority background. She might face the challenge of a poorly funded school, the daily stress of poverty, and the sting of discrimination. It's like running the obstacle course with a weighted vest on. But on the flip side, a positive cultural identity and a strong sense of community can be a powerful source of resilience. These things can provide a sense of belonging and strength that helps people navigate the unfair obstacles thrown in their path, proving that our backgrounds are complex things. No one runs this race alone, or at least no one should have to. This is where social support comes in. It's your personal support crew. It's the family, friends, and neighbors who cheer you on from the sidelines. They are the ones who give you a hand when you stumble, offer a word of encouragement when you feel like giving up, and remind you that you are not invisible. For someone facing tough times, a strong support network can be the difference between collapsing from exhaustion and finding the strength to keep going. It's having someone to talk to who understands, without judgment. Think of it like this: if you lose your job, the economic stress is immense. But if you have friends who can lend you a bit of money for groceries, a parent who lets you stay with them for a while, or a former colleague who can recommend you for a new position, the crisis feels manageable. You have a safety net. For those without this network, a single setback can become a downward spiral. This is why things like community centers, local clubs, and support groups are so vitally important. They build connections and create safety nets for people who might not have one otherwise. The positive impact of a strong support system on our well-being is enormous. It's good for our mental health, reducing feelings of loneliness and depression. It's good for our physical health, as people with strong social ties tend to live longer, healthier lives. It gives us a sense of belonging and purpose, which are fundamental human needs. When you know you have people in your corner, you feel more confident to take risks, like starting a new business or going back to school. You know that if you fall, someone will be there to help you get back up. Building these support systems is something we can all do. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It can be as simple as checking in on an elderly neighbor, mentoring a young person in your community, or just being a good listener for a friend who is struggling. Every act of kindness, every connection we make, strengthens the social fabric that holds us all together. It's about recognizing that we are all part of the same team, and a victory for one of us is, in a small way, a victory for all of us. We are, quite simply, stronger together. So what's the point of all this? Is it just to feel bad about how unfair the world is? Absolutely not. The point is to recognize that a more equal society isn't just a nice idea. It's essential for everyone's well-being, not just those at the bottom. When huge numbers of people are left behind, it creates instability, mistrust, and conflict. It's like having a sports team where only a few players are healthy and well-fed. The entire team will suffer. A fairer world is a more stable, prosperous, and healthier world for every single one of us. Equality means everyone has the chance to reach their full potential. Think of all the brilliant minds, the talented artists, and the innovative leaders we lose because they were born on the wrong side of the starting line. Think of the scientific breakthroughs that never happened because a potential genius was stuck in a dead-end job to make ends meet. When we invest in quality education for all, ensure fair wages, and provide access to basic needs like healthcare and housing, we are not just helping individuals. We are investing in our collective future. It's not charity, it's the smartest investment a society can make. This might sound like a massive, impossible task, and in some ways it is. But change doesn't happen all at once. It happens with small, hopeful steps, taken together. It happens when we vote for leaders who prioritize fairness. It happens when companies decide to pay their workers a living wage. It happens when we challenge our own biases and stand up against discrimination when we see it. It happens when we support policies that give every child, regardless of their background, a genuine opportunity to succeed. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and we all have a part to play. The journey towards a more equal world is paved with hope. It's fueled by the belief that we can do better. We can build a world where a child's future is determined by the size of their dreams, not the size of their parents' bank account. It requires courage, empathy, and a willingness to work together. It means looking at the person next to you, no matter their story, and seeing them as an equal partner in this race. The finish line is a world where everyone has a fair shot, and that's a finish line worth striving for, together.
Subscribe, like and share for more interesting videos. For more like this, see the description of this video.